Hello everyone and welcome to the 2023 Pro Worlds Mixed Doubles Championship here at the World Championships up at Smugglers Notch. My name is Chris German, co-owner of Gatekeeper Media. Along beside me, I have Nick Hansen, and we're in the booth here, excited to represent PDGA for this feature card here.
Yeah, I'm excited. We've got a lot of good teams here this week, and the conditions aren't ideal, but it's going to create some good scoring separation and hopefully some good action throughout the day.
Yeah, we've had the pleasure to cover this event for a couple years now, and every year it just seems to get more competitive and the cards just get deeper and deeper in terms of the competition. So this card here, we have defending champs Macie Velediaz and Calvin Heimburg. And we also have Keiti, Tätte, and Jakub Semerád. So a couple international players. Very excited to see that. Like you were saying, big field coming into hole one, 320 feet, par 3. Big change this year, they actually put OB behind the basket, making you actually have to throw a speed shot here and control that speed.
Yeah, you're going to look for a left to right moving shot from most players. As we see Velediaz teeing first.
Do you want to go over kind of the rules here for this first round for this XC event?
Yeah, so the rules are it's best shot, but you're not allowed to take someone's shot 3 times in a row. So we could see it where we only see one person from each team teeing off on a certain tee pad because of shots on the previous hole, things like that. And when we get into the second round today, we'll be playing alternate shot once we're off the tee pad. So very exciting and going to create for some score separation.
Yeah, this first round really sets up for some aggressive play, being able to kind of run it if your partner's under the basket with the best shot format. Calvin got caught up a little bit as Keiti throws a perfect turnover shot.
So as you saw, she went inside that tree. That's the one tree to beat there on that right. If you get past it, either on the right or the left, you're looking at an inside the circle putt, and you saw her dial it up. It might even be inside bullseye.
Jakub getting a little caught up there, but no worries. Well inside the circle for their birdie putt. And Macie and Calvin going to have the circle 2 bid for this first look.
I'm excited to see how these teams kind of strategize to see maybe if one player goes for the putts more often on the first try, and then the second player is always allowed to kind of, give it a 100% bid.
Yeah, like I heard in the beginning, Calvin and Macie actually communicating like, if we take your drive, you're going to be the first one going. So they took Macie's drive, so she was the first one to run it. And if they took Calvin's, he'll probably be the first one throwing from that lie. So a little bit of strategy there.
Yeah, and it kind of takes away from the getting up to the lie and being like, all right, are you going to go or am I going to go? You already kind of know who is going to throw for your team as you're walking up to the disc you've already chosen.
Let's see if Keiti can secure this birdie single-handedly.
She sure does. That is a good way to start your World's doubles event.
Yeah, this came in as the easiest hole, 0.8 under par, so almost a whole stroke, almost the whole field taking birdies here.
Yeah, when you're playing best shot, you want to get this one. But here we are at hole 2, 550 feet. Playing OB on the right side there. You're going to want to land in this area here so you can hit this second tunnel to try and approach the basket there. Gonna be a hard hole to get up and down from. And just a side note as well, on this first layout today, we'll be playing all of the MPO pads.
Yeah, it makes it much easier and makes it more fair for the entire field, because coming into that, like who's teeing off next type of thing, if the women were to tee, then they'd be teeing from the shorter pad where someone else might be teeing from here. So to keep it simple, everyone's throwing from longs for this.
Oh, and getting a great skip if that stays in bounds, and it does. They're going to be looking at a good position to try and get their birdie.
Yeah, you definitely want it finishing right. If you finish too far left, you can get pinched off there.
And here's a good one as well from Velediaz. She's going to put them in the middle of the fairway.
Calvin's is leaking a little right here. See if it gets through clean. Based on that, yeah, I was going to say they would probably take Macie's there for the cleaner look. It looks like they're behind that tree.
Yeah, and with the amount of shots that you can throw in a row, it kind of adds some strategy into play when you have two drives that are a similar distance, you know, similar approach. Gonna make the teams think a little.
Calvin here is going to show the flex forehand, and that nose up, and it's going to leak out OB.
Oh, and sneaking through that side. She's going to give them a circle 2 look here.
Jakub could get a little more aggressive here, and he does, but it does look like it's going to leak too far and go OB, so they're going to be taking that shorter approach from Keiti.
Yeah, unfortunately on this hole, the rope is on the short side of the wall, so if you do actually land on the wall and stay on the wall, you are out of bounds.
Should be pretty simple up and downs here with Calvin now inside 10 feet. And this is a green light here. Try to get the birdie.
Can she do it again?
Ooh.
Oh, I thought she was about to go solo bird on here.
Wow. Jakub gives it a bid, but a little left.
They were pretty deep inside circle 2, so not surprised they didn't convert, but would have been a great addition to the card. Hole 2 is going to be a hard hole today, I would say.
Yeah, played .17 under par, so pretty close to par for the field. A lot of pars for the field.
All right, and we're going to move into hole 3 here. It's a little bit uphill out of the gate, and then you're just going to want to fade to the left. If you can skip at the top of the circle, it'll skip you right down inside the bullseye.
Yeah, this is another new change to the Brewster Ridge course. This is a completely new tee and look here. Does look like there is a tighter, kind of straighter left gap if you want to take it, but I think traditionally most people are going to be finding that right gap. But I think it's a really good change. This hole, for the past couple of years, has played as the easiest hole. Great shot from Jakub there.
Yeah, going a little deep, but staying inside the circle.
Calvin's shot looking really good. Millennium Solstice. Great shot. So we saw there Calvin was the only one to tee. So I do believe it is only for off tee drive, like off drives.
Yep.
So they took Macie's on first and then Macie's on the second. So that's why they had to take Calvin's. So just to not confuse as every shot. So the putts and approaches don't matter.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't clarify that very well, but yep, you are correct.
That was a great putt from Keiti there.
Yeah.
Her putter is on right now.
Yeah, 2 down through 3 is a great start, even if you're playing doubles.
A little bit of pressure on Calvin now to make the putt, and he converts. So they finally get on the leaderboard here now.
All right, as we move into hole 4, 555 feet, par 4, uphill most of the way. Gonna be needing a left to right moving shot, and then you have this tunnel here that then leads you to the green. Gonna need to see some like perfect angles, I would say, to get up there.
I would say this is one of the harder holes here for the field.
So we see Tati catching early and kicking right.
He sees, good rollout into the center there.
See Calvin throwing what looks like a fairway to try and get that to slowly move right. It's going to give him a look up that next tunnel there.
So this is where this format really gets interesting. So they have to take Keiti's shot now, and they're now scrambling just to get up and down for their par. Good shot there from Keiti.
Yeah, that's a good spot to be off the tee. Tough that you're going to be throwing your third from there, depending on where this one lands. But still a chance to get up and down for par.
Looks like there is a good gap here for Macie and Calvin to get aggressive. I would say that's pretty common there. A lot of people end up near that wall.
Yeah, I would say a lot of shots funnel there. This shot here, though, that we're seeing is much more difficult in giving you that open look. Most shots are going to funnel out left, and many of those putts are going to be obstructed.
Oh, that is such a good shot there from Tätte. It's going to put him right at the edge of circle. Leaks a little left there from Jakub. So, circle's edge putt here to save par. Let's see if the putter keeps going for Keiti.
Oh, and just a little low left. Hard to tell, but from this angle, she is putting a little bit uphill.
Good putt there from Jakub.
Yeah. It's a good cleanup to keep your team with no bogeys so far.
And Macie for the birdie. As this hole played about a quarter stroke under par. So under par, but compared for the doubles format, one of the harder holes.
All right, hole 5, 305 feet, par 3. You're going to have OB on the left side, and you're going to need a shot that stays straight and then moves right at the very end, whether that be a slow turning shot or maybe a forehand that kind of just stands and then fades out at the very end for these right-hand players.
With the OB left, you do have to keep that in mind. Any type of tree kicks could come into play. It's probably about 40 feet there for Team Velediaz.
Ooh, and there's that tree kick. I think she's going to stay safe because of the wall, but that's exactly what you need to avoid. Oh, wow.
Wow. Jakub must have had his Wheaties this morning because he's gone deep a couple times now.
Here's Calvin from circle 2. Oh, and a great line just off the band. Giving Macie here the opportunity to fully run it. However, it is pretty obstructed.
Looks like they'll be settling for par. It's Keiti now trying to take the team to 3 under.
And her putter is on fire today, folks. This is going to be a pretty standard green that you'll see. A lot of times players are going to be putting through the trees, around trees, making it very important where you land your shots.
Paul Macbeth, what a shot inbounds. That is a smash.
It just seems like he's willing his way to the top.
Your 2022 PDGA World Champion, Paul Macbeth.
All right, we're back in hole 6. 345 feet. You have this gap to hit off the tee here, but then it's going to slowly fade left the entire way. Downhill, probably about 20 or so feet. You can skip inside circle 2, you'll usually trickle down, but if you hit by the basket, you'll usually trickle into the long stuff.
Yeah, speed control does come into play here. It being a blind hole as well, you kind of just have to trust it and listen for the crowd or any tree hits or anything. Hitting the rock wall down there at the bottom.
I like this one.
Good skip.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and off the bucket.
That was such a good line there
Wow.
from Jakub. Let's see that again. Wow.
Man.
I was doing catch cam here, and I thought that was it. I was holding my breath. Great shot.
That's got to be tough sometimes to hold the shot still and just have all that excitement inside.
Yeah. This might be a little deep. Yeah. I was saying I was looking good, just a little deep. Too straight.
Yeah, I would say this is kind of an in-between distance for a lot of players with it being so much downhill that they're stuck between discs. So you either need to power up on, a slower speed disc, or you got to kind of tone it down and give it a touch shot on a fairway or a driver.
Calvin's going to find himself just a little outside the circle here, but pin high.
Makes light work of that, taking them to 3 under par.
As this hole came in 0.58 under par, so one of the easier holes on the course, and Jakub shows why right there.
All right, hole 7, 575-foot par 4. It is uphill here out of the gate. You need to try to get as long as you can down that fairway. If you get up to the left, you're going to be in some trouble. But there's a lot of trees and a lot of single trees to navigate throughout this fairway.
Yeah, I really like this hole. This is one of my favorite holes on the course. You can kind of go a little early and left here, kind of how Keiti is leaking out, and still be able to get up and down over there if you get tricky. But if you push it straighter, I think it sets up for a better shot. But just trying to get a disc to go straight that far and that long without turning it over.
Calvin putting a good move on it, but just leaking a little too far right.
And you could see there that Calvin's lie was not a good one, as they're going to take Macie's shot. And they still have a lot of work even from there. That's kind of where you want your drive to land.
Do you think this maybe could be a strategic move so that way they both tee off again on the next hole?
I would say so.
Since they both didn't really have that great of a lie.
Mm-hmm.
But look at this.
This is looking great from Calvin.
Take that from back there for sure.
Yeah, as Keiti, like I said, if you finish a little left, you do have this gap over here. Sets up for a hyzer shot. That'll just do.
Yeah, circle 2 putt there for birdie. Oh, catching early, unfortunately, there, and they're going to be taking Keiti's.
Macie there. Getting in probably about 25 feet or so. Looks like Calvin's going to go kind of right through the trees.
Oh,
I like the effort, though. Good effort.
might as well. We got one already that close.
Nice try.
Good effort there from Jakub.
Decent full bid there with her partner close.
I slipped. I got it for you. There you go.
Yeah, like you said earlier, the conditions weren't the greatest, so the footing here was so muddy, making it very challenging for everyone out here. And it was on and off with the rain. It just kept coming and going, so...
Calvin there is going to clean up their par.
Little high left there, but able to stay in.
All right, hole 8. This is an addition this year. New tee pad, longer pin position, but it's 830-foot par 5 uphill the entire way. I'm excited to see how these two groups attack this hole.
Yeah, this probably plays closer to 1,000 with all the gain of elevation here.
So really off the tee, you want to push to, I would say if you can get one 280 to 320, you'll put yourself in a range to get birdie. And as you've seen already, it's really about keeping it in the fairway at these courses. You can take some distance off, and if you stay in the fairway, you're going to be in a much better chance to get up and down for par and hopefully for birdie.
It's a good shot there from Macie. So Calvin's going to get aggressive here, and this is looking pretty good.
Yeah, and as we see, you know, one of the top players in the world here throwing a fairway off the tee, so it just shows you he's, you know, slowing that disc speed down so he can make sure he keeps it in the fairway.
I feel like you could almost even go mid-range here and just make sure you just keep it in the fairway on your first shot. It's so important to not have to be scrambling in the woods on this first shot.
Quick shout out to the team here. They've been putting wood chips down all over the course all week. They've had enormous amounts of rain in the last month.
Great looking line there from Keiti.
Oh yeah, that'll do. I like this one though if it stays clean.
Great shot.
Catches that tree there, kind of kicks them a little to the right, but I mean, they should still be able to get up and down for par here. That was looking really good, and it would have faded out right into the middle of the fairway.
So this is their second.
Tough angles on this hole. This is a very challenging hole.
Yeah. Thank you, Frog.
Good kick there for Calvin.
Yes, you hear them cheering about that kick. Every inch matters.
Great Anheuser release there from Macie.
Oh, better.
Should be a circle 2 look. Maybe closer.
Come on. Come on. Through. Yeah, we got that.
Calvin putting a good move on his and getting to circle's edge. It's hard to tell, but up there right, you can actually see the basket.
Oh, Keiti's going to get caught up there and kick to the left.
Even when you're in the fairway, sometimes you're scrambling.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about some of these courses. It's Jakub showing his forehand skills.
Great shot there.
His approaches have been looking great today. 'Cause this is a birdie look here for the team.
Nope. It was a good layup. It was a good layup.
It was a good layup, as she said. Looks like Calvin has this one little tree kind of make it a little bit awkward.
Said a few of those now go off the top band there.
Good putt.
Good par save for the team. So I have a cleanup here as this came in at .04 under par. So came in as one of the harder holes on the course.
All right, here we are at hole 9. Gonna wrap up our front 9 here at 375 feet, par 3. It's another good tunnel here if you can, you know, get your disc to turn just a little bit to the right, but then fade back on the right-hand backhand. You're gonna be in good shape. If you get going over the hill with too much speed, you're gonna find yourself quite a ways away from the basket.
Yeah, this is another hole that brings that speed factor into play.
This is looking great.
That's going to skip up.
Didn't give him
Well
probably
inside.
about a 15, 20 footer there.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be Circle's Edge, but that kept scooting.
Dang it.
Needs to get sneaky, and it's not. Both disc landing basically in the same spot. This is a tough scramble for par.
Yeah, very, very tough. One thing I was noticing in my practice rounds on this tee pad is that tee pad kind of actually directs you towards that side of the, like that rough. Whereas if you're just following the tee pad, you're kind of naturally aiming right there. So one of those things you got to take into consideration sometimes when playing new courses.
Keep going.
Oh no, Macie with the terrible rollaway.
Wow.
This is big for Calvin for the par. And he knew it right out of the hand.
Fortunately, too far right. It's gonna stay outside the bucket.
Yeah, that's going to bring the first blemish to the card. And this is a big stroke swing here.
Sneaking it in there.
The putter stays hot there.
I'd be smiling too if I was making all my putts. It's a good front nine for her so far. She's been making them from all over.
Yeah, that you got to have a lot of confidence going into this back nine. That's going to finish up the front nine here. Keiti, Tätte, and Jakub Semerád, 5 under. Macie, Velediaz, and Calvin with the 2 under. But still plenty of golf. We're only a quarter of the way through these mixed dubs. So we take a look at the scoreboard. Owen and Joel, 8 down through 9.
Wow.
Yeah, with the shotgun start, a lot of the easy holes there maybe, but when you look at their scorecard, they tore it up. Once again, everyone, thanks for tuning in. My name is Chris alongside Nick Hansen, and we are here for the PDGA. We'll see you on the back nine.